I represent a constituency that doesn't want that bill in Oklahoma. We are going to fight to keep that bill out of the state of Oklahoma because we're a Christian state.
Are you on? Which side are you on?
In Oklahoma, there was this beating recently, and ultimately the death of a non-binary student, Nex Benedict. And there's been some controversy about whether or not this person's death was actually a result of the beating. I haven't followed it very closely, so I'm not going to say one way or another on that. But it was brought up to some Oklahoma legislators, and this was the response from a Christian Republican legislator. Let's listen to that.
My heart goes out to that scenario if that is the case, but we represent a constituency. We're a Republican state, supermajority in the House and Senate. I represent a constituency that doesn't want that filth in Oklahoma. We are a religious state. We are going to fight to keep that filth out of the state of Oklahoma because we're a Christian state. We're a moral. My heart goes out to that scenario if that is the case, but we represent.
Yeah, that is,
wow. That's disgusting.
And then the reaction of the crowd was also really disgusting. I mean, I've talked about this a few times, but the rhetoric on the right really does seem to me to be getting more, theocratic and fascist and violent than it has in my lifetime. And maybe I wasn't tracking it super closely, but all this, talking about filth and we don't want this in our state. The way that they talk about immigrants now, it's just really jarring and scary. That people are talking about, and this was a situation where we're talking about a young person that died, right? And he's talking about we don't want this filth in our state. I mean, really kind of shocking stuff. And
to proclaim Christianity,
right? And that's the reason that I'm saying this.
Go back and look at the words in red.
Yeah. And so normal people see this. Even Republicans, because there are normal Republicans who, they're business friendly. They want lower taxes and whatever. But they're not out there on all this, Christian theocratic, dictatorship kind of stuff. They're not on that. And this was the Republican labor commissioner for Oklahoma attacked this legislator. I thought in a pretty eloquent way, for a Republican. She talks about some stuff that centers, I think, the wrong thing, but seems like her heart's in the right place, at least on this issue. Let's listen to the Oklahoma labor commissioner react to this.
Anyone see Senator Wood's comments?
Disgusting.
When someone asked him about the death of Nex Benedict, he said, "We don't want any of that filth in our state." He was referencing the LGBT community. My daughter Katie is 33. She is the light of my life. She has 2 masters and is the kindest human I know. She and her wife live in Massachusetts because they don't feel welcome here. Don't tell me those bills don't matter. Don't tell me CEOs don't see the huge amount of slanderous and horrifying bills going through our legislature and say, they were on my short list. I'm taking them off. It matters.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Wow.
And she's saying this to a Chamber of Commerce, to a
Right.
council of bosses. These are the people that are writing the checks to these freaks in state houses across the country that are pushing bills like this. The Chamber of Commerces are the ones that are funding these candidates. And so, a good message certainly to that crowd. And she's right on both counts. That no doubt there are CEOs that look at red states and say, because of the social climate, I'm not going to be able to attract talent, or I don't want my brand associated with, Christofascism. And that's a reasonable thing. And then also on the flip side, people like her daughter, who are presumably her daughter's a worker, I don't know. But, workers are going to flee these states. People who could otherwise be good, tax-paying, contributing members of our society, but are pushed out because of narrow-minded bigotry and made to feel unwelcome by their fellow citizens and by the political leaders in their state, being basically all but kicked out.
Right.
And so, true on both counts, and powerful for her to be saying this as a Republican in front of that crowd in that state. I appreciate that. I really, really do, because that's not, I don't think that's an easy thing, because it would be an easy thing to just condemn those comments, but then to go the step further and say, these bills targeting the LGBT folks, those are bad also. She did go the step further, and I think that's commendable and laudable for a person in her position.
Right.
And as an Alabamian, as a union member who is, on the opposite side of almost every issue from a Republican labor commissioner or a person who would be speaking to a Chamber of Commerce, I really appreciate that.
I do too. And, I brought up earlier, Tommy Battle, mayor of Huntsville, defended DEI. There again, I think that's another example where, is it probably from a shallow perspective that, bigotry is bad for business? Yeah, it probably is. It's about protecting an image, but at least she had the guts to say something. At least she had the guts to say something. And that's, there are those, like I said earlier, with the legislature in Alabama, you have the real dyed-in-the-wool reactionaries who are total Neanderthals and actually believe this garbage. But then you have the cynical ones down there who are not idiots. Mm-hmm. They're not all as stupid as Tommy Tuberville. Some of these folks actually know how much of this is nonsense. They know the damage they're doing to people's lives with this. And they do it for money, they do it for fame and for political clout and for power. And I think those folks may even be worse than the true believers.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.